Tonight, we're talking Democrats. 6 months after Democrats lost to literally Hitler for the second time, consultants are out there spending oodles of money at fancy resorts, contemplating their party's path forward over filet mignon and fine wine. Meanwhile, their party is still in a free fall. In a recent NBC News poll, Democrats had a 27% approval, the weakest in surveys dating to 1990. The New York Times published an article this past week that was roundly mocked. 6 months later, Democrats are still searching for the path forward, in which they outline a hilarious $20 million plan, which aims to reverse the erosion of Democratic support among young men, especially online. It is codenamed SAM, short for Speaking with American Men, a strategic plan, and promises investment to study the syntax, language, and content that gains attention and virality in these spaces. As Andrew Yang said on X this week, Democrats paying consultants to learn how to talk to men is kind of the problem. The Democrats looking at men like Jane Goodall observing gorillas doesn't bode well for the future of the party. It's not hard to figure out what happened. You mean to tell me that calling all men toxic, or worse, rapists, or saying that working out is a far-right obsession, or going on and on about toxic masculinity for a decade pushed men away? That's so weird. I can't imagine why. And it's not like people didn't warn you. People like me, repeatedly, since 2016, I've been sounding this alarm. So tonight, my guests and I will be giving you Democrats $20 million worth of free advice. You're welcome. In my November 2024 Spectator magazine column, How Democrats Bud Lighted Their Brand, a reference to when trans woman Dylan Mulvaney posed with custom cans of beer featuring her picture on social media and ignited a firestorm, I outline what I observed from working at Playboy and other men's magazines from 2015 to our current moment. Men were demonized, emasculated, blamed for all society's ills. Men were told to take a seat and shut up. It was socially acceptable and encouraged to be vicious to anyone with a penis, unless they were a woman with a penis. I knew Democrats had completely lost the plot when a men's magazine I wrote for, Mel Magazine, included this editor's note in a 2019 piece titled, "Can Men Sharing Their Experiences with Abortion Make It a Better Experience for Everyone?" I'll never forget this editor's note. It read, "For brevity's sake, we're using the word women to describe people who get pregnant and men to describe those who impregnate them. But people of all genders can get pregnant and get people pregnant, and this guide is intended to be a useful resource for them as well." That was when I knew it was done. I told my editor then they'd lost the plot and never heard from him again. Fair enough, but the magazine went under in 2021. Last October, when internal polling was showing what the rest of us already knew, the Democrats had a very serious man problem. While Donald Trump was doing the podcast bro circuit, the left-wing PAC Vote Save America put out a cringe-inducing video called Man Enough. Now we're going to show you that video in case you haven't seen it.
I'm a man.
I'm a man.
I'm a man, man.
I'm man enough to tell you that I cry at Love Actually.
I'm man enough to be emotional in front of my wife.
In front of my kids.
In front of my horse.
I ain't afraid of bears. That's what bear hugs are for.
I'm not afraid of families. I'm not afraid of women.
I'm not afraid of women.
It was roundly mocked and satirized, and the left hasn't just shed men. They've lost suburban moms. They've lost gay men, lesbians, working class voters of every race have drifted to the right. There have been dozens of versions of the exact same book published about how the left lost me over the last decade. So many versions of this book have been written, I didn't see the need to write my own, but it's my story too. Like so many people who voted for Trump, I did so as a protest vote. We aren't MAGA so much as politically homeless, another topic I've been writing about for years. In August of 2019, I wrote The Battle Cry of the Politically Homeless for Spectator, and it went viral. In September of 2019, I followed it with an open letter to the Democratic Party, all but begging them not to lose their minds. In that letter, I said, like it or not, I'm a canary in the coal mine. If I, a citizen of the Republic of California, have been abandoned in the center, how many people are there in Ohio or Florida or Wisconsin? I guarantee a lot more than the polls currently reflect and a lot more than Democrats can perceive from their liberal bubble. You can't bully people into voting the way you like, and then when they push back, imply they are racist and say, good riddance, not if you want to survive. And a year later, they would be marching through the streets screaming, defund the police, while they set buildings on fire. So no one was really listening to anyone in that moment. In 2016, I lived in LA and I voted for Hillary. In 2020, still in LA, I didn't vote for anyone top of ticket. In 2024, I voted for Donald Trump. And if you had told 2015 Bridget that 2024 Bridget would be voting for pussy grabber in chief, I would have said, oh, wow, so I go crazy in the future. That's really sad. And maybe I did go crazy, but I didn't go crazy alone. And the Democrats aren't going to understand how they lost until they truly grapple with how they lost so many lifelong voters. It is apocalyptic here right now, guys. Today, we're doing our own focus group for the Democrats. Can they turn their brand around? Can they turn their brand around? Can they get men back?